Hello there, grandchildren. I thought I would share this story with you that I've written. I'm hoping you enjoy it. If not, you don't have to hurt my feelings, just don't watch the video. But give it a chance. This story is about Rocky and Tiger. There's the cover picture. Now I'm going to go in another couple of pages here and show you an inside cover page about Rocky and Tiger. You know, the book was written by me and illustrated by a very nice lady in Poland named Beata Banach. For the first chapter, the chapter about Tiger, here's a picture of a little boy trying to get a cat to fetch a stick. Now, let me go ahead and read the story to you. First chapter, Tiger. The twins were hoping to stay up late, and why not? It was summer, and they were almost in the second grade. Second grade girls are too old for a summer bedtime, they thought. Abigail and Anne were on the porch swing, scooching up to the front of the swing, stretching their little legs until their toes pushed against the porch swing, then sitting back until the momentum died. Then they would push off again. The sun was taking its last peek over the hills, the stars poking their way into the sky, and the twins hoped to go unnoticed until all the stars were out. They were staying the week with Grandma and Grandpa while their parents went on a cruise. Since Grandma and Grandpa didn't know the bedtime rules, the twins figured they could stay up late, maybe until morning. "Okay, girls, time to go to bed," said Grandpa. "Oh, we can stay up late, Grandpa," said Abigail. "It's okay with Mom and Dad while they're on their vacation." "Your Mom and Dad told me when bedtime is," said Grandpa sternly. "And that's when bedtime is going to be." "Oh, we aren't even ready for bed," said Anne. "Come along, I'll get you your nightgowns on," said Grandma. While Grandma changed them into their nightgowns, the twins tried to come up with a different way to stay up late. It wasn't easy. "Grandma," said Abigail with a pout, "we're tired of always wearing matching nightgowns." "These look fine," said Grandma. "I want to wear the blue nightgown," said Anne, with her arm in the neck hole of the green nightgown. "I want to wear the pink nightgown," said Abigail, smiling at her sister. Grandma answered, "These'll do. While you fall asleep, you can dream of being in any nightgown you want." The girls thought about arguing, but Grandma was making her "do not make me tell you again" face, so they didn't. While they were brushing their teeth, their brains kept working the puzzle of how to make their bedtime later. "I don't want to go to bed," said Abigail with a pout. She wanted to find a way to put off bedtime. She was the stubborn one. Sometimes her brain locked into what she wanted so much she didn't really think. "Should I have a bedtime snack before I brush my teeth?" asked Anne. She was not as stubborn, and she could think things through to be more clever. Grandma just looked over her glasses at Anne and made a brushing motion with her hand. "Don't brush away all your teeth," teased Grandpa. "Save some enamel for tomorrow." Anne put away her toothbrush and sat in a chair in the hall. "What's enamel, Grandpa?" she asked. He has no idea," said Grandma, making a shooing motion with her hand. "Move along and go to your room. You too, Abigail, make those legs move." "Grandpa," said Anne, "tell us a story." "I only know one story," said Grandpa. "The story's 6 years long, and it's so boring I slept through a third of it myself. Besides, you can't put off bedtime 66 years. "Tell us only a little bit of the story, Grandpa," Anne said. "Yes," said Abigail, seeing that this attempt to stay up might work. "Tell us a part of the story you could stay awake for." "I was told," said Grandpa sternly, "you were to be in bed by 8 o'clock. I'm in bed, Grandpa, see?" Abigail said, jumping on her bed. "Me too," Anne said, jumping on her bed. "Being in bed," said Grandma, pulling down the covers, "does not mean jumping on it. It means crawling into the covers, lying still, and listening quietly during the story. You do that, and I'll get Grandpa to tell you a story." Both girls crawled under the covers, lay still, and looked at Grandpa expectantly. "Go ahead and tell them a story, David," said Grandma. "It's bound to put them to sleep." "Thank you." Grandpa gave Grandma a look, but the lines around his eyes said he was smiling. Grandma's face said she was serious, but the lines around her eyes said she was not serious either. "So, you girls are in the first grade," Grandpa started. "We're in the second grade, Grandpa," said Abigail. "Not until September," said Grandpa with a frown that Wynne did not believe. "The school may realize they made a mistake letting you out of the first grade." "Perhaps you should all agree to disagree," said Grandma, shaking her head. She placed half a glass of water on the nightstand of each girl's bed. "Well, as I was saying before I was corrected," said Grandpa, "in the summer before I was in the first grade, your great-uncle Pat was going to be in the fourth grade, and your great-uncle Mike was going to be in the sixth grade. I got along very well with my brothers, and although I might have fought with one of them now and then, I seldom fought with both of them at the same time. We did all the normal things boys do, and loved to play more than we loved going to school. Way back then, there was no video games, and there were only 3 channels on TV. Not only that, you could only watch what was on right then, so of course, we spent a lot of time not watching TV and doing other things. One thing we liked to do was play with our pet cat. Tiger was a large tabby cat with white fur and orange stripes. Now the 2 of you know real tigers have both orange and black stripes and white bellies. But I was only in the first grade, so I didn't know better, and I thought our cat looked like a tiger. My brothers agreed, so we named the cat Tiger." "Grandpa and I are in the first grade," Abigail said. "You said we know that tigers don't look like that. Then you said kids in the first grade don't know what tigers look like. I think you are confused." "Do you want to listen to the story or argue about it?" Grandma asked with her no-nonsense face. Besides, he was talking about when he was in the first grade, so what would he know? Anne put her finger to her lips to tell Abigail to be quiet. Grandpa looked at Grandma like he was thinking, "What do you mean, what would he know?" Grandma arched her eyebrows like she was thinking, "You know what I mean." "So cats can be fun sometimes," continued Grandpa. "You can pull yarn to get them to chase it, or you can hold up shiny things for them to hit with their paws, or you can use a flashlight if the room is dark to get Tiger to chase it." "You mean a laser pointer," said Anne. "Grandpa's so old, they didn't have laser pointers when he was a little boy," said Grandma, as she turned out the lights. "The problem with a cat," sighed Grandpa, "is there are things you can't do with them. You can't play tug-of-war with them because they'll either scratch or just walk away. If you try to chase them, they'll climb up something you can't get to and give you a dirty look. Even things they usually will play with, like chasing a string, if Tiger did not feel like playing, he would just go and lay on the back of the couch in the sun and ignore us. Or, if it was nighttime, he'd go to the back porch and lay down on his bed, pretending to be asleep. The girls were laying back and their eyes were closed. When Grandpa mentioned the cat pretending to be asleep, each girl opened an eye. "Just like that," said Grandpa, "pretending to be asleep." So the cat was fun, but we boys felt there should be more to a pet. Of course, to be fair, Tiger often acted there were better things to do than play with little boys. But that's just the way cats are. One time we did have fun, though, was when the church put on a kids' parade for summer vacation. All the kids were going to dress up, and the parade was going around the block that the church was on. Some kids dressed up as cowboys, some girls like ballerinas, some kids dressed up like hobos, but my dad really had a great idea for his boys. He built a cage on my wagon with a scrolled top and bright paint. Then he put clown costumes on us boys. And on the day of the parade, he put Tiger in the cage, and we walked like we were in the circus. Everyone thought our costume was the best, particularly because we had a real live wild animal in a cage. All the children walked around the block on the sidewalk. Many grown-ups came out on their porch and applauded as we went past. It was a lot of fun for everyone. Well, everyone except Tiger. When we got home, we opened the cage and let Tiger out. Tiger ran until he was out of reach, and then he arched his back and hissed at us. For the next week, Tiger slept behind the couch and would not play with us. Finally, when Dad put the cage up in the attic, Tiger went back to sleeping on the back of the couch in the sun. Another week went by before Tiger would finally play with the boys. Looking back, I can see how Tiger must have felt. But at the time, all three of us boys started thinking about why a cat was not the perfect pet for us. And that, said Grandpa, is the story about having a cat as a pet. The old man stooped to kiss the girls' foreheads and walked quietly out of the room. Anne was barely awake, but she could tell Abigail was asleep. So she shut her eyes and went to sleep herself.